So you can hear the music on your end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear it down here. So I can fix that. And then
Does it need to be muted on Kristen's end?
You know, it's possible the format on that. We didn't think to check that during sound check on that. That is a different format than we're used to sharing. Actually, I didn't even consider that. Usually we share from YouTube and it's not a problem. The format that video was created in might be the issue. So I'm thinking we need to hold off till next week on that. That's more likely the issue. So let's put it off one more week. Kristen worked really hard on this video, so we can't wait for everybody to enjoy this video. It's it's all of you who contributed all your photos from Run for Recovery. We're going to try again next week. We'll get it into a different format so Nico can play it like normal. Okay, so anyways, never mind. So how about Becky? What do you got for us, Becky?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So boy, I guess I get to talk about the fun stuff. I thank everybody who participated in the Run for Recovery, and thank everybody that's here tonight. And for anybody that's new that hasn't been to Solution Group before, we always used to like pass around an envelope and ask people to donate $5. And we haven't been able to do that since COVID. So I'm just hoping you all, if you've enjoyed this, if you've really gotten a lot out of Solution Group, as we have, that you can go on the website and donate $5 for Solution Group. That would be amazing. That's what helps keep us, you know, besides monthly partners, people donating for Solution Group are really like what we need to stay like afloat here. So we just really appreciate $5 or whatever you can do. And Bill, do you want to add anything to that?
No, just there's a lot of people here that have been participating in Battlefield for many, many years, and I'm hoping, and I would imagine that most people are supportive of Battlefield through donations. But since we're not having the weekly in-person venue anymore, that maybe you have been absent and contributing to Battlefield because of that, but there's always a way to donate. And for new people, anything that you could contribute to keep this organization going is much appreciated, because that's how we survive. We don't survive from big corporate sponsors. This is a family-centered kind of approach, and we really rely on that. So if you're new to Battlefield, please go to the donation page.
And if you also new to Battlefield and you don't know who Bill and I are, Bill is the president of the board, and I am volunteering and fundraising and doing some grant writing. And so we're volunteers. So, but we do know that end of it, and we do know what it takes to keep Angie and Kristen and Art working for us and doing what they do. So, you know, anyway, thanks. Just thank you. And whatever you can do, we really, really appreciate.
Thank you. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for that. And you can go to our website, battlefielladdiction.com. And also, one of the things I wanted to let everybody know, if you're not on an email, or I mean a text reminder list, reminding you of solution groups every week and whatnot, you can go on our website and sign up for that too. So if you don't get a weekly reminder on Mondays or Tuesdays about group, and you would like to get a text reminder, you can go to our website now and find the text sign up deal and put your phone number in too. So you can do that while you're on our website. So thanks, Bill and Becky, and thank you, Kristen. Thanks for your hard work on that video. We will try again next week. We'll get there. Okay. So now are we ready for some comedy over there from Kyle? We've got some Kyle's Corny Comedy. Are you ready, Kyle?
yeah.
Okay. Make us laugh.
Okay, I'll try. Okay. Did you know that if you rearrange the letters in mailman, you get really upset?
It's a little quiet. I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
If you rearrange the letters of Millman, you get really upset.
I don't get it.
If you read
The letters.
Oh,
I get it.
I hear you just didn't get.
yeah.
yeah. I saw an old man fall into a well today. I guess he didn't see that well. What happens from drinking a lot of espresso? You get a latte problems. A latte problem. I can't believe I forgot to go to the gym today. 2 years in a row.
Me too.
Yeah. I was well, the original joke was, I can't believe Art forgot to go to the gym today.
Oh, you should have done that one. Yeah.
You should have done that one.
Yeah.
7 years in a row. What kind of candy is always late? Chocolate.
Okay, you made that one up.
I do enjoy it. What kind of water doesn't freeze? Hot water. It gets better. Which table fits in the fridge? The vegetable. A lot of people have told me that I'm the cheapest person they've ever known. I'm not buying it. Last one. This one's for the families. For those who don't know what true chaos is like, try running out of cigarettes with a house full of addicts.
Whoa.
You made that up too.
That was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. Okay, let's make sure your sound is okay because Kyle was a little bit quiet for us. So let's check you out first, Art, before you start.
All right, we good?
Say a little bit more.
Are we good?
I think so. It's hard with just a couple words.
Okay. I don't know what other words to say. Oh, I did get my second COVID shot.
We can hear you.
I'll tell you when that.
Nice.
That was it really does feel like I have COVID after the shot.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So your vaccine cards are legit now?
yeah, my vaccine cards are legit. I don't have a fake one. But I did spend all night shivering in bed last night. No, that's true.
Mhm.
Shivered the whole night. How do you I wasn't cold either. It was the weirdest thing. I just shivered all night and I wasn't cold.
Weird.
And I've been shot in both arms, so I can't barely lift my arms.
What kind did you get?
I got the Pfizer. All right, we ready? Does it sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. I was asked the other day, and sometimes the format of what we do here is kind of odd. It's odd that I think parents might find it odd. People might find it odd that you all listen to me talk or whatever it is, and that there's not, as much sharing as there always is, or there is in other kind of addiction meetings. This isn't really an addiction meeting there, though. I'm going to put out like 5 roads and then take you down them in a different way tonight. And the first one is that I want to challenge what Kyle said last week or 2 weeks ago when he talked. There's a few things that I would challenge. And one of the things that I would challenge is that Kyle said he's sharing his experience, strength, and hope. And I want to negate that. I think that's a comical thing to say or nonsensical thing to say, but it's not realistic what he was sharing. So I'm going to talk about that. And another thing that comes about when we get into this thing is that, for probably 43 years, I lived on this planet amongst the humans, and I didn't really know what a human being was about. I didn't know what they were up to. I thought they were up to getting cars and houses and having kids. And, I just thought that that's what human beings were up to. As we begin to study and kind of learn what a human being is up to, we found out what they were up to. And for the most part, human beings are about two things. They're about looking good, which is validation. So human beings are up to looking good. And another thing they're up to is fairness. So we found not getting shorted and looking good is what human beings are kind of about. Another road that we're going to go down is like, also then we come here, and as you guys know, what we're trying to do, the mode of what we're trying to do is show you something, show you that your whole life you've been kind of a glove, and you've adopted this kind of suit that you wear as a persona or a mask to show the world. And what we want to show you is that your whole life, and expose you to the fact that you're not that glove, that you're actually this hand underneath, that you're this hand underneath. And to go out in the world, you put on this glove and act a certain way and say a thing. And all the way that you act and talk and everything that we do is about looking good. It's about what looks good. And so we consider that whenever we do anything. We consider what we look like, what we're up, what this suit that we put on, how does it sound when we talk, or what does it look like when we talk? And so that is there. So you come here with this full on, and then what kind of happens is people forget that they're the hand, and they start really adopting all the characteristics of the glove. And hopefully what we do here is we show you that you're deeper than that. We show you that underneath that glove is you. And if you pull it off for a while, you'll actually see that you kind of been fraudulent. You kind of been up to something. You kind of been up to looking good. And so that's another road. And then actually, really, I come from a background, really, my favorite kind of therapy is called confrontational therapy. And what are we confronting when we're doing confrontational therapy? Well, we're confronting when someone speaks, we're confronting what they're up to. We're saying, is it true what you're saying? Another road that we're talking about tonight is truth and presence. We've been talking about that for a long time. We've been talking about how we want truth and presence in this room. And when we get it, we feel it. It's intense. And people can feel the truth when people talk, and people can feel the presence. What happens is when there's truth being spoken, presence comes to it. And if you don't understand that, just watch the Dave Chappelle show. One thing about the Dave Chappelle special was that man was not about looking good anymore. He's gotten past, when he speaks, being about looking good. When he speaks, it's not about what he has to say. It's about why he's saying it. So what happens is he's got kind of underneath just what I'm going to say. So a lot of people, when you first get in this thing, so what happens here in this room, when you're on camera and everybody, I'm going to challenge the format of this meeting, and I'm going to say it's very difficult for everyone here to talk because they're worried about something. They're worried about me. So when Kyle sits in this chair, they're not worried about Kyle because he's not going to confront them. And what people are worried about on here is they're worried about speaking and having not being truthful and having me call you out. And that's been known. So I have people go, why are you so hard on people? Because they're full of shit. Why am I so hard on everyone in this room? Because you're full of shit. You're a liar. You came in as a liar and you know it. You've been a fraud in your life. And we all know this about each other. And now you're trying to learn to live, but you're still having this big concern. This mask that you got to wear, because as we come into recovery, we're hypersensitive about how we look. We're hypersensitive about what we look like. It's really true. So everyone comes in this room and we're fearful of each other. We're scared. We might say something stupid. We might say something that don't make any sense. We might get laughed out. We might get kind of put back away from everyone. And so experience, strength, and hope. And they go into a meeting and everybody says they're going to share that. Bullshit. What's your strength that you're sharing? We don't want to hear that. What's the hope that you're giving us? We don't want to hear that. So what is this? What we do want to hear is experience, but we don't want to hear experience like a story. We want to hear it like a reference. We want to hear it like a learning tool. So what Kyle shared was not his experience, strength, and hope. What he shared was validity. What he shared was something that will help us. What he shared was his truth. So he said his truth about his life, and he referenced his experience, which made it valid. So he went back and he said, this is the truth about my life. And then he referenced experience that he had to kind of pound it home. He wasn't full of shit. So everyone out, why don't you let you guys? Well, listen, guys, if I was here and this was a talk on economics or real estate or mechanics or almost any other topic in the world, but self-evaluation and addiction, I wouldn't talk. Why? Because I don't have anything to say that's a contribution. I don't have anything to contribute to a talk on real estate. I don't have anything to contribute to a talk on economics. I don't have anything to contribute that's valid that will help. And so what Dave Chappelle did when he came out and spoke, what he said was, Dave, stop being concerned with what he's going to say. And I will challenge everyone on here and say, when you're about to talk, what you're probably thinking of is what you're going to say. And I would say, in order for things to be truthful, it can't be about what you're going to say. It has to be about why the fuck you're saying it. Why are you going to say it? Is it, what are you going to contribute to what's going on in this conversation? You know, a very difficult time is we have these topics that I bring forth every week. I know they're original because I made it up 15 minutes ago. I know they're original. I didn't read it somewhere. I'm not making this up. I just made this up. It just came from somewhere. And I didn't read it. I didn't do anything. This is all me. So as I introduce these topics, it's very frustrating when people are listening to these topics and then coming out with what they're going to say. So they're not listening. They're just waiting to say what they're going to say. And that's a hijack. That's a hijack of the conversation. That's taking it where you want it to go rather than what it is. So I don't believe in experience, strength, and hope. And I believe when people get together and share their experience, strength, and hope, it's nonsensical shit about looking good. That's all it is. A group of people doing nonsensical shit about how he wants to look. Here's what I did. And I don't believe people really, when they get truthful, they don't want to listen to that shit. Because what they're doing is they're all just giving each other a chance to be validated. So you wait and I will listen. I'll think about what I'm going to say. And you talk and we'll all go, ha, 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 like it really made a fucking difference. And then I'll share. And then I'll get the same validation. And it's all nonsense bullshit. But what I'm requiring of everyone here, what I required of Kyle before I let him come here, is that he was not going to fucking hijack this. He was going to say something that was true. He was going to reference it in his own life, and he was going to make it original. It was going to be an original thing. One of the reasons why I left 12-step meetings and every other kind of addiction meeting, why I just walked away from it was repetitive. I never heard anything original. It was regurgitated shit that was said over and over and over and over again, with every now and then a glimpse of truth where I went, oh, that guy just said something original. And it was like amazement when I heard it. So I started looking at different people that talk because I wanted to hear something original. So now what am I confronting when we do confrontational therapy? I'm confronting you talking about looking good. I'm confronting the fact that you're now talking to try to say what you were going to say without even realizing why you were going to say it, without even considering why you were going to say it. And if you don't consider why you're going to say something, why you are saying it without consideration will be because you're trying to look good. And that will be the bullshit that we are. It'll be people trying to look good, trying to look smart, trying to look like they know, trying to look like they've got something to say that, but it doesn't contribute. Truth brings presence. A lot of times I see those meetings. I go on to meetings online. I've seen them. Nobody's paying attention. And the person talking doesn't understand that nobody's paying attention to them talking, and they don't even care that nobody's paying attention. But I imagine being in the audience of that Dave Chappelle special when it was being taped was like total high energy and intense presence, because every word that came out of his mouth was truth. And he didn't just write down what he was going to say. He considered every angle of why he was saying it, what it was going to contribute to our lives, what it was going to contribute to each community that he was talking about, what it was going to do for us, what valid information was he providing, and what was it going to do to us as people. And it's very tough to do this. It's a lot easier just to talk nonsensical and just say, I'm going to talk and I'm going to, for the most part, if you even watch human beings, when they say, I have a question, they never do. They never have a question. It's never a question. It's a statement. It's a question that really they already know the answer to, that they're just trying to look cool. It's a challenge, trying to make somebody else look stupid, but it's never an inquiry. I mean, not never, but like 2% never. So I say that this is confrontational. And if you're going to speak, I want people to speak. I have not heard a talk better than Kyle Munker's talk from anyone in a couple years. And I am serious about that. And the reason that, and I watched the entire group. I've never watched a solution group, but I watched Kyle's whole talk because never did I see in it looking good. I watched for that and it wasn't there. And so tonight, even for me, I have to always consider when I'm no longer do I consider before I talk what I'm going to say. My thing is about why I'm saying it. So why am I saying this tonight? I'm saying this because you come here, you guys, and just because you're an addict does not mean you understand addiction. Just because you're an addict doesn't mean you understand shit. It doesn't mean you know why you do what you do. It doesn't mean you understand yourself. It doesn't mean that you're truthful. You know, every parent drops their kid off here and goes, I'm a liar. And then goes, I want to hear him talk. Why do you want to hear your liar kid talk? They haven't done the work yet to get underneath to see what it is that they're saying. And when people are a liar, it's not being a liar about, I'm a liar about what I did or what I didn't do. Being a liar is way deeper than that. Being a liar is lying to myself about why I'm talking. Being a liar is lying about what I'm saying and why I'm saying it, and if I even understand myself. So the work of getting underneath the glove that you've put on and finding the hand is the work of observing your motivation. What am I about to do? Why am I doing it? Why? People are seeing you. People are seeing what you're doing. People are talking. And truth and presence, that's tough because we never really know if we're there. But how I know if I'm telling truth is I see presence. That's how I know if I'm telling truth. How I know if I'm full of shit, I see people looking out the window when I'm talking. So each one of you have to learn. And this contribute, this being here in this room, do I want everyone here to contribute? Yes, originally. I want to hear about your experience referenced from a lesson. I want to hear a lesson in your life, and I want to hear this new learning that you've had, not some regurgitated reference shit that you already knew, not taking my conversation and go, it's like that. No, it ain't like that. Whatever you say my conversation is tonight, it ain't like that because I just made it up. So it ain't like that. I didn't look at any other stuff. I'm telling you right now, it ain't like that. It's like really understanding yourself and understanding. And it might get worse tonight now. It might be people don't want to talk at all. And I'm sorry for that. But that's the problem with our format right now because we're not going to let, and I'm a confrontational guy. I have a friend, Ryan, he's here tonight, and he says every time you give him a hard time, you give everyone that talks a hard time. And I say, no, I give the lying a hard time. I look and I see, what is this person up to right now when they're speaking? And when I see that they're up to looking good, then I smash it. That's it. And the reason I do it is because I've been in a room with 700 people and I did it. I was smashed in the face so hard and embarrassed in front of 700 people when I spoke that I literally went home that night and cried about what type of human being I am and what I was up to when I was about to talk. Because I got in front of a coach that confronted me and said, you are full of shit. You're just trying to look at all these people. And what is remarkable is you're in a room with 700 people and they tell you that you're up to looking good. And then you raise your hand to look good. And you do it. And you fall right into the trap and they just go, bam, there you go. Why are you telling us that bullshit? Why are you saying that? It would be over and over. A guy would stand up and go, I have a question. Not even on topic. He would stand up and he goes, I run a company with 100 employees. I have 100 employees working for me and I take care of them really well and they're all paid well. Is that good? That was his question. Is that good? That's him just kind of wanting to tell us about himself. So believe it or not, guys, everyone on here, believe it or not, I talk very little in every other setting but this. I talk a lot in groups. I talk a lot in solution group, but in almost every other setting, I don't talk. Angie knows there's people I don't, because I'm trying to figure out why I would say something. Before I speak, I want to figure out why I'm speaking. I want to figure out what it would contribute. Now, I get it. People just want to talk, and we just do that. But this is important. And it's very important because part of why we're all here together is that we haven't been truthful with each other. We haven't been truthful with our motivations. We haven't been truthful for what this really is about. This is about getting past the glove and figuring out the hand and then speaking from that hand. Speaking from what you really are and what you really think and what you really feel without considering what it looks like to say it. Just saying it. I can't say that. I can't say that. I'll say this. Well, it's not true. Experience, strength. What would it sound like if we listened to somebody tell us their strengths? Wouldn't it sound a lot like bragging? Now, what would it look like if they gave us hope? What would that be? What would that help? How would that contribute? So somebody tells us, hey, I was a drug addict for 21 years and now I'm 7 years clean. Do you really sit there and go, now I'm hopeful? Before I thought it couldn't be done, but now I'm leaving with hope. Do you really? I don't believe that. I don't believe that you do that. I believe you go, this guy has a different life than me. He doesn't understand me. Maybe he made it and that's fine, but I might not. I have to really work on myself. If somebody told you that they made $1 million yesterday, would that give you hope? Would now you go, I'm going to make $1 million. I got hope. If somebody told you they slept with 15 women in the last month, would that give you hope? Would you go, me too? I'm going to sleep with 15 women now. So what are we talking about? And if somebody tells you their experience, why do we give a shit? Unless they reference and they tell you this, and then they reference it back and make it true with their experience. Unless they can tell you why it's true in their experience. And then you go, just like Dave Chappelle, we looked at his experience and we hear his experience and he's telling us a lesson and then he references it back to the story and it's beautiful. And you listen and you go, it's true because he told us, not only did you experience it, he gave us a lesson about his experience. He analyzed himself. And after he analyzed himself, he contributed greatly to society, to everyone by listening to that. And it makes you tear up because it's true. And you cry and everyone's present and it's beautiful. And that's difficult. And that takes you guys. So do I want to hear you speak? Yeah, I want to hear you say truth. And by the way, when we're not in this format, then you guys are truthful a lot of the time. A lot of the times the things you say about other topics are great. I want to listen. But about this, study yourself first. Kyle has studied himself. When he was in the pantry and he was sabotaging himself and not cleaning the pantry, he wasn't not cleaning the pantry. He was analyzing himself not cleaning the pantry. He's on another level. And then he told us that. He said, I wasn't just not cleaning the pantry and being a dick. I was considering what kind of dick I was being, which is how a human being improves by self-analysis. It's also how a human being gets truthful. But if you're going to speak and we're going to just go ahead and talk because we feel we want to be validated and we want to say something, that is the lowest level of speaking. That's just nonsense. Now, this is tough, guys. I don't want you to, but really to sit here and go, okay, not what am I going to say? But a lot of people in these kind of meetings, what you see is people just waiting. This is what I'm going to say. 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 And then you ever seen it when people in a meeting both try to say it at the same time?
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Mike. Hi, my name's Bob. They both fucking say it at the same time. And they're challenging each other on because they've been waiting to say what they're going to say. And they don't care even the timing, even if it fits. One guy speaks at 7:05 and then 8 o'clock. They start sharing after a beautiful topic at 7:36. So at 7:45, they're sharing about what the guy said at 7:05 because they've been waiting to respond to that. Yeah. Now, this is tough. And I'm challenging and I'm saying, listen, we're going to have a deeper conversation one day. And everyone's going to contribute. And we're going to contribute the way we have to contribute by you referencing your experience into a lesson. By you saying this is by this is me self-analyzing myself. And after I self-analyzed, I learned that this is what I was doing back at this experience through self-analysis. And this is how I'm going to improve in those experiences going forward. That's beautiful. And I want to hear anyone talk about that. And so right now, tonight, we're talking about our spirit. So I had to sit there and go, what, literally, why do I do this? You know, I can honestly say probably at the beginning of the doing all this, no, I can't. Every time what I do when I try to speak here on Tuesday night is I try to change your life. I try to give you a unique perspective coming from me that is unique, that is experiential, that comes from something that will impact you and you will take home, and it will actually give you a different perspective called a distinction. I will give you a distinction that will show up, make your life show up different. And that's my goal in speaking. So the goal in speaking is no longer here to try to look good. If it was, I would be trying to get a bigger crowd, I think, and trying to, whatever. I don't know. But I don't want a bigger crowd. I just want to impact the crowd that's here. And I want to say, let's talk to each other like this. Now, what is your motivation for speaking? And if you don't understand it, ask. And what is the motivation for listening? What is my motivation right now? What am I up to? Do I feel like I don't look good and I want to look good? I want to cover my tracks. I said something stupid last week. I want to make up. Believe me, I've done it.
Yeah.
I've analyzed it. Oh shit, 9:30 in bed after solution group. Oh, why did I say that? I'm gonna have to call people and tell them I'm sorry or whatever it is. So I know it's a weird format because it's hard because you gotta look good. And I want you to talk, but you gotta look good. But you gotta look good, and then what if you don't? But what if it's about, I gotta find something true to say, and I want you to find something true to say, and I want you to find it like in your heart to say something, and I want to contribute to right here, right now, this conversation about how we got here right now and what it means that people just say nonsensical things and never look into what they're saying. That was the only part I have to challenge of Kyle's thing. He said experience, strength, of hope, because he's giving an homage to something else. He's like kind of, doesn't want to look bad to those people. But there it is. There's the problem in its entirety, right? That's the problem. You don't want to look good. Well, fuck those people. Because does you saying that contribute? No, but it might look good. And so we can't worry about that. So I know it's difficult. And for the parents that want to ask questions and whatever we want to do tonight, I know I left you in a bad spot tonight. And I knew when I made up this topic, I was going to leave everyone in a bad spot. But listen, I'm a confrontational man. And when I say confrontational, I'm not violent and I don't fight people, but I confront bullshit on a daily basis. And I've been doing it for 11 years. I've been confronting people's bullshit for 11 years. And if anyone on here knows and has a drug addict kid, the job of confronting bullshit is endless. But it doesn't stop because someone's got here and got a week clean. And another thing that's happened is when we do let people talk in this solution group, they end up embarrassing themselves a lot of times because they say how great they're doing. They say how good their life has changed in the last 8 days. They say how much they love their mother, and then they bash her in text, treat her like shit. They say how they're never going to use drugs again and then use the next day, or are actually high when they're speaking in this room, which has been several times. And that ain't it. That ain't truth and presence. That ain't what we're doing here. So this is a requirement. Stop being full of shit. Now, if you can challenge me on why I'm full of shit, I will take the challenge. Let's go. Anytime. Tell me and show me that I was up to something that I didn't know I was up to. That was what changed my life. People confronting me being up to shit that I didn't. Oh, you just trying to look good, Art. It made me bigger when people smashed me like that. Now, did it hurt? It hurt so bad I cried. I cried because somebody showed me I was full of shit, and I was humble, at least. Now, I'm not humble, but I'm at least humble enough to agree I was full of shit. And every parent on here came to me at one point or the other and said, my kid is full of shit. Every single parent. And that's where I challenge and say, then why do you want to listen to them? Why don't you wait till they're not? And it can't happen in a month. It takes a while. It takes a while.
Oh my gosh.
Biggest learning experience that I had was getting called out.
Yeah.
Told that I needed to change.
That's right. Cam right here, I smashed him in the face to the point where we both cried. No, Cam faced it. And I'm not saying everyone in this room has, but Cam has. Cam has faced me calling him out to the point where he wanted to run from me. He wanted to leave. He was packing his stuff. And it wasn't nice. And it doesn't feel nice to get confronted with your own persona, to get told that you're just putting on a show to look good for people, to get told that you're full of shit. But how would you ever not be if you didn't get told it? If people just went on and on and on and let you be full of shit. We are full of shit. That's it. As human beings, it is almost impossible to escape the trap of looking good. Tonight, although I told you that my motivation is to contribute and had validity, I also have looking good in there to consider. And it doesn't go away. It's just maybe took second place for a minute, but it's right there because the biggest fear in my life is that I don't look good. And I have to challenge myself to still try to contribute while still trying to look good. And it's tough. This is a tough game. Self-analysis is a tough game. But you will be outed for not analyzing yourself when you speak. And the eye rolls when you guys do client group together. The eye rolls prove it. And you detect each other. And you think, I'm bad, guys. Wait till you should see when they talk to each other. And somebody's full of shit. I've seen them go at each other every day, calling each other full of shit. It ain't nice. I do it a little more delicately than they do sometimes. So I hope that explains the format. I want to explain to you why. I'm not trying to really. In fact, I hate hearing myself talk. That's the evidence of that is that I do not watch myself talk ever, and I never have. And I can't stand it. And I don't want it on the internet. But sometimes I'm compelled. I'm compelled to share this perspective because I actually believe that it will help. So I'm compelled to share. I don't want to. I wish I didn't have to. Sometimes. But sometimes I take a week off and it builds up inside and I have to get it out. And I think that's a lot of what Dave Chappelle did his special for. He doesn't need money. He no longer needs to look good. But he was compelled to share.
That was his last one.
It was the last one. He said he was compelled to share and he wanted to contribute to society and make an impact. So he never thought about what he was saying. He did think about what he was saying, but he always, the major context was why he was saying it. So we'll ask questions now if we can. and if you guys can contribute, that would be good. And you have to see, if you look back at all your speaking, just look back and start analyzing your speaking and start seeing what you've been up to and see if you can go back and look at all the times you talk. And when you talk, it's not why you're talking, it's what you're saying. And it's then what I'm saying. And is it about looking good? How much of your talking is about looking good? I can wholeheartedly admit that mine is. Can you? Can you admit that when you speak, well, it might not be about looking good, but it definitely, when you talk, it's about not looking bad. I think the biggest embarrassment of our lives is that time we eagerly raise our hand in front of a bunch of people and say we have the answer. and we get it wrong. You know, I mean, I've been there before. I know. And then it's like, oh, and then you're trying to think in your head and explain why you thought it was that. You know, well, I thought you asked it differently than that. I thought, you know, and that's hard. That's hard.
I thought you meant like this.
Right? Yes, young lady.
Do you think that it's ever possible for somebody to fully get to the point where they are just never trying to look good?
Oh, phenomenal question. And believe me, the reason I think it's a phenomenal question is because I've thought about it for years. And Angie sees a woman, this woman, Kimberly, that's into all this. And she's a huge, reduction of self and vibration person. And she's a great person. She's self-analyzed to death. And she's awesome. And I had Angie ask her that question because it's a trap. So I'm going to ask you a question and it's going to say, do you ever not worry about looking good? And then somebody goes, no, I never worry about looking good. And I'll say, there, you're trying to say that to look good. And I don't believe so. In my opinion, I don't think so. I mean, except I say in those rare cases when you see that 85-year-old man, he's out to breakfast at Denny's and he just lifts his leg and rips one. Like he don't give a shit. He's oblivious to everyone around. He don't care. And I think I've seen it in those kind of rare cases. But literally in this room, can you imagine a world where you did not care what people thought about you? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
So the mission is to not necessarily get to a point where you're not worried about looking good, but it's to get to a point where you're comfortable looking bad.
No, I don't think that that's true. I think that the mission is to understand that you're all about looking good.
And to a certain degree.
Just understand it. As soon as you understand it, there's a chance for contribution or a chance for validity.
We're not being inauthentic.
That's right.
If you're looking at your motivations for speaking, and if the motivation is because you're trying to look good, it's gonna be inauthentic compared to sharing something with truth and experience with it. To not look good, just to share the experience.
You ever hear, I think one of the biggest asshole comments that I've ever heard, and I hear it a lot, other people's opinion of me is none of my business. And then guys try to push that on other people. You don't worry about what people think. But that man that said other people's opinion of me is none of my business also woke up and put on clothes. Why? Why did he get dressed? Why did he shave? Why did he wear a hat? Why did he go do anything? And that's just it's a really, in my opinion, a tough way to look at things. If you're not going to worry about other people's opinion of me is my entire business. I care deeply people's opinion about me. I want people to think of me as a good person. I want people to think of me as trustworthy. I want people to count on me. I want people to have a high opinion of me. In fact, when somebody has a low opinion of me, it bothers me so deeply I can't get over it. That's true. When somebody tells me they don't like me, I want to make them like me. Now, if somebody else has a different version of life that they're living, I would say maybe look deeper. Because you comb your hair, you brush your teeth, you wake up and go to work, you do a job, you perform for they too. You perform. Our days, our life is a performance. It is.
Yeah, if you could be ever okay with somebody not being able to count on you.
Yeah.
What the fuck,
Yes. Ever okay with somebody not having a high opinion of you.
Right. And where the hell are you at, right?
Yeah. Look around at people's yards. Look at how they go take care of their weeds. Why do you think they're doing that? They like their neighbors to see that they're, that's a way to show you're a good person. It's a way to show you're responsible. You know, why do you paint your house? Why do you spend all that money if you don't care what people's opinion of you is? Then you just give up. This is what we're doing. We're in this room. Don't we all care about each other's opinion? You know, isn't that also, not only do we care about it, isn't also other people's opinion the most interesting topic for you? You know, even to the point where somebody goes, I had a dream last night. You go, I don't give a shit. And they go, it was about you. And you go, oh, let's hear it. I mean, our favorite topic is us. It is. Our favorite topic is us. We love it. You know, remember that? I think it was a Trump meme or something. And it said something to the extent of, enough about me. Let's hear what you all think about me. You know, enough about me. Talk about what you think about me now. You know, it's my favorite topic. Me. I don't know another one that's more interesting. You know, I just lay in bed and think about me. I never think about your money. I think about mine. I never think about your health. I think about my health. I never think about your car. I think about my car. I never think about your future. I think about my future. Isn't it hard to do otherwise? You ever get up worried about somebody else? You just wake up. Oh, the people in Zimbabwe. I can't sleep.
Coney.
Yeah, but a parent with their kid, when we worry, it's always something tied to us. I don't worry about for some reason, I'm not worried about the addicts in Lakeside Milam tonight. Isn't that weird? But I could tell you, what if somebody goes, oh, all I care about is the still suffering addict. That's it. Just the still suffering addict, dude. My whole heart bleeds for the still suffering addict. That's all I think about is that still suffering addict. No, I don't. I think about the ones around me. I don't want them to steal my shit. I don't want them to, I mean, you know, I don't drive out to Lakeside and go, are they in there? Are they still suffering? Who gives a shit? People helping the homeless. Most of the people, and I'm telling you, they want their ideas about how to help the homeless. They don't want somebody else's. Believe me, you ever get in a room with 10 people that help the homeless for a living? It is war. Scratch your eyes out, war, hatred, because each one's fighting to be the solution. It's deadly. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. So yeah, it's a great question, because can we? It would be phenomenal if we could get to the place where we didn't care what other people think, because goddamn, couldn't we just sleep easy every night? We could really sleep easy. But I don't even care whatever level you're on. You think you don't care what other people think, but why do you do what you do? Look. Why do you buy that car? Why do you drive that car? Why do you wear that clothing? You ever worried that you had something in your teeth all day? You see it in the mirror when you get home, big piece of lettuce. Oh, shit. You know what I mean? And then there's worry. I wonder if they saw it. Well, maybe I smiled in a particular way where they didn't see the lettuce. You know, hopefully they didn't see the lettuce. I gave a big ripper of a fart to Aunt at the airport the other day. I came off the plane and just let one go. And then Ange goes, did you fart? And I go, no. I kept the lie going until we got down to the baggage claim. And when we got to the baggage claim, I had to come clean because I've never lied to her. So I go, you know, upstairs, that was me. But right there, oh my God, Angie's never going to love me if I fart. Oh my God. She's going to leave me. I'm just going to be alone farting in my bed. Yeah. Even couples, they put it on together that they don't poop. You know, you got to be with a woman like a year and a half. Okay, I admit it, I do poop. Yeah, you got me. I'm going in. It's true, right? But that was a question I had for people because I always wanted to hear their answer because I knew their answer was a trap. Like, because no, in fact, the fact that you're answering the question tells me you're worried about people. You had to, right when somebody's asked, hey, do you think I worry about looking good? Or do you worry about looking good? Right when that question's asked, just think what they're worried about first. Just ask a random person, hey, do you worry about looking good? Right before they answer the question, they're going to worry about looking good. They're going to worry about looking good right before. And they're going to go, oh, what do I say? How does it look? And then somebody's going to go, no, I don't worry about it. And somebody's going to go, and for the most part, that's what people will say if you ask random people. Ask random people, do you worry about what people think of you? I bet 9 out of 10, we could do a survey. 9 out of 10 would say no. You think you could find somebody that would go, yes, I worry deeply what people think about me? Probably not. Probably not. They would act cool and say, no, don't care. And that's the society we're living in. How are we going to ever get honest with each other if we don't answer that one question? If we don't say that we're all deeply concerned about the way we look with each other. If we don't say that we're all deeply concerned about being validated and important. And if we don't start there, how are we going to get anywhere?
That's why I think hearing about yourself is probably one of the hardest things to do. To hear your faults and all of that is in my experience, it's been one of the hardest things to accept. But then on the flip side, also, it's one of the most motivating things as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, you so uncover some of the layers,
right?
You know, that first layer of looking good. If you see it, at least it can be. You can go a little deeper after that, and you go, yes, I'm about looking good, but let's take it a little deeper here. And then underneath that is another layer, and it can keep going till you can get all those layers and get down to just that bare hand. Maybe for a second. Maybe for a second when you speak, all the consideration about looking good goes out, just for a second. And then you see people truth, like it's you and them. And for a moment, you two are together and you're both not worried about looking good. It's like not the major concern. And you actually just both say something truthful and expose yourself. And there's love. And we find people like that we can do that with. Yeah.
Would you say that looking good and trying not to look bad is something?
Yeah, well, I think it's gotten worse. I think it used to be about looking good, and it's turned into people are so scared to not look good that they've actually flipped it, and they've gotten to the point of paralyzation.
Where they're okay with not looking.
They just don't want to. They don't want to even go out to risking looking good.
Inaction.
They just want to stay not engaged. I don't want to choose a career. I don't want to choose a recovery path. I don't want to choose anything. And so they end up making their life just disengaged. They sit in the back. They don't speak. They don't challenge themselves. They isolate. And I think that that's what's happened. It's gotten worse than not looking good. It's about, I'm too scared to even try to look good.
It's actually dangerous.
Yeah.
I think people feel anxiety.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I think, but like I was concerned this week, we're working on relationship, and I've done a lot. I've told these guys what a relationship is. And I said, a relationship is the space between, and a relationship is the space between you and I, in any relationship we're in, you and that. And that's the relationship, is the space between. And I've talked to these guys this week about keeping that space clear in and the work of committing to a relationship is to keep the space clear between you and that, or you and I, or you and her, or you and him, or you and mom, or you and dad. And I wondered today if you guys would ever engage in that process, or has it gotten to the point where people are so scared to even work on a relationship because it looks uncool. Because it just looks like you're just give a shit too much. And I think, and I'm worried about that. You know, when you go to the Landmark Forum, they teach you about relationship, and then they tell you to go outside on the break and call family members and begin these discussions. And everyone does it for the most part. Everyone goes out and does it and gets engaged in these discussions with family members and starts trying to clear space and do this work. And then they come back in and they share with what happened and what happened when I called this person. And that's what I'm hoping for you guys. But I'm telling you, like, I'm worried that you guys are just too goddamn cool. You know, too cool to stand for something, too cool to stand for a career path, too cool to go out alone and say, this is what I'm doing. Too cool because maybe you're worried, you know, to maybe pick some music different than everyone else, or, you know, that's kind of one thing everyone will do. But, you know, how about you don't vape? How about you do something different?
So then there'd be no such thing then as prideful or being pride or having pride, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you mean?
So like, I've heard people say like, well, I'm doing this for my pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah,
really,
that seems kind of.
But really, instead of you're not doing it because of your pride. You're doing it because you don't want to look bad.
yeah, that's true.
It has nothing to do with the pride at all.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I think that whole statement of pride is just.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
Yeah.
It's just a cop out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm too prideful. You mean I'm too prideful to work on the relationship?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find myself telling myself that I'm like too scared to confront people about like things that are in the space between us, but then like that's bullshit because I'm aggressive in other relationships. Like,
yeah,
I'm not afraid to confront people when it comes to like other stuff.
Yep,
So it's like,
yep.
It's like, why can't I confront people when it comes to like the stuff that's more serious? Like,
It's so good.
That is right. That's right. We're not we're confronting each other on why you put the cup there instead of there. And we're confronting each other on why you left that plate in the sink. But we're not confronting each other on our deepest level of bullshit and our deepest, like, trying to connect on some truth. Truth comes when I analyze myself and I come back to a situation. I say, hey, that interaction that we had yesterday, I was crazy. I was up to something really outlandish. I was being a complete asshole, whatever it is. And I just want to tell you, I've looked at myself. It's like a fight happens and it's so beautiful when people go back to their own corners. And then when they go to their corner, they don't stay in blame and they don't stay in any of that. And they go back to their corner and they analyze themselves.
That's why Kyle's talk was so good, is because it actually, through his experience, it actually taught us how to approach those situations and stay out of the box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we learned that through those experiences, when you're in the box, nothing ever gets solved or nothing ever gets resolved.
That's right.
When you're able to,
because it's blame,
right?
And people aren't going to respond to that.
The other problem is we don't care enough about the results. We care more about
being right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. The results, actually caring about having 99 relationships, all of which are good.
Yes.
And starting with one and saying, my goal in 5 years is to have like 500 people that would come to my funeral and say something good. Because right now I'm left in a position where only my parents would be there. Maybe my brothers and sisters, just because obligatory. People are obliged to go to my funeral at this point, not going there to honor me. So I'm going to work on my relationships until there's an exchange. Growth comes after every one of those conversations, every admittance, every time you tell somebody that you think you were up to something that you weren't, you were kind of being fake, or you were kind of being like a certain way, and you've realized that you were a certain way, and you realize that it rubbed them a certain way. And when after you do that, growth appears every time. Because then the other person gives and goes, I was a certain way too. You know, and that's beautiful. And that's relationship work. It's nice stuff. And a lot of people aren't even ready for it. So a lot of people, you'll go and do that and you'll give a thorough apology and you'll really feel apologetic and you'll really feel like you're working on what you say you're working on. And then they'll take that and use it against you. And people will do that too. And they'll say, yeah, he admitted to me he's wrong, but I ain't going to forgive him. And that's happened to me too. But when you're with good people, the valuable people will take what you had to say, consider it, and go, man, I love when I see a person change a little bit. I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. And that is a beautiful thing when people give you credit where credit is due and say, wow, we're working on this thing. You know, it's beautiful. And I really am. It does when you leave those situations and you go, wow, we're on better terms.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's better than complaining to somebody else and like not knowing what to do. Like telling them you don't know what to do when you know you should apologize. Like you know you should be like going to the person about it.
I want everyone out there, and if we're ready for questions from anyone out there, please do. And if you see any hand raised or anything, but I want everyone out there to know what's happened in this room. And what's happened in this room is like, it really got to a place here, did the opposite of what I thought I was going to do, and it worked. It actually got to a place here where everyone that is contributing right now is coming from a place of truth. And everyone kind of really, you can feel it in the room and you can see that this is a valuable conversation and that everyone that spoke is contributing and you can feel it, right?
We can feel it out here too.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing when this room got under the surface of looking good for a second. Now it's brief. It might not stay. About 8:40, we're all going to be upstairs smoking, talking shit and looking good. Telling how much money we got, what car we're going to buy and what job we got and what kind of shoes we're buying next. And, you know, dancing to the song and
Doc Martens.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes.
You know, but it got somewhere. So we got any questions out there, Andrew, comments?
Yeah. So everybody, if you have a comment, a question, anything here, I'm raising my hand here. You can see there's a raise your hand feature on your device. If you can't figure out, there's also a chat feature. So you can see me right now saying hi, everybody. There's a chat feature as well. You can just say, I'm trying to raise my hand. I don't know how. And I'll get you unmuted. We would love anything, any comments, any questions. Would be great.
Well, I think one of the things as human beings that we worry about the most, and what we really do, we worry about people thinking we're full of shit. It's probably one of the worst things people could say is that we're a fraud or we're full of shit.
I think the worst thing is when you realize we're full of shit.
Yeah.
What did they say? We didn't hear that.
The worst thing is when we realize ourselves that we're full of shit, and it's impactful. And you hold your head down and you cry. And then what happens when you realize you're full of shit is you replay like the last 5 years of your life and you cringe. And you go, ooh, shit, that's what I was doing.
And that's what I was saying about the motivation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it when after you figure out that you are full of shit, it's like, or get called out on your shit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's almost like a motivation to want to change.
Yeah, it makes you look.
Yeah.
Now it'll make you look.
Well, that's the best part. The instant that you realize you're full of shit, that very instant, you're no longer full of shit.
Yeah. Well, it might build back up.
It might be. It probably will. Yeah.
And then you realize you're full of shit is the instant.
We're gonna answer this question
out of the box.
But we're gonna answer this question. But guess what? You could and I'll go to the question next. But you could be in an environment where you start realizing you're not full of shit. One that's like this. And it could be safe and you could put your guard down and you could get to the place where you're truthful and we could get truthful with each other. And then you might go down to a new environment. And what will happen when you go to that new job or that new social group is you might get right back to being full of shit because you're scared because that persona comes right back up and you're worried now deeply what those people think of you. So you try to prove yourself and that'll happen again. All right, let's go to the question.
Hey, Jim and Sharon. Hi, guys.
Hi. I want to ask the question, what's the breakthrough point or how that breakthrough comes? I've, in a different venue, I tried to get people to learn and come back and share what they've learned without parroting what they've been taught. Trying to get them to, what did you learn about this? And it's a Christian environment, okay? And it's
right.
Teaching a class, but they always come back with parroting. They always parrot what they've heard someone else say, and they won't give themselves the room for just a self-exploration, just exploring what they actually did learn. And in that, I found that silence during the class was really effective. If you guys want to be quiet and not talk, that's fine. I'll sit here and stare at you. And it brought out a bit. But what do you think is the breaking point in a small group, not a large group, but what is that breaking point or that point that you can make to help people to just go ahead and be honest? Just go ahead and lay it out there.
I think we're there. I think that point where everyone in that room realizes the number one motivation of a human being is to look good. And as soon as they could realize that, then they could see that all their behavior each week was not actually about to learn the material, not actually to deep think the material and self-analyze and relate the material to their experience, but rather to come up with some clever thing to say to look good next week. And that's just what goes down. And that's what we're trying to defend against right here tonight and saying, no, we will require you to be deeper than that. That is what Mike said 2 weeks ago. That's not your thought. Quit plagiarizing and actually take this material, put it in the soil of your brain, water it with your thoughts, and flower it into something we can all see as original. And that's the way it works. You get your brain down to the point of soil. I love when I hear, that's the one thing, I'm not a big scripture guy, but I love when they say scripture rejuvenates the mind. And I love that, because if you could just get your brain clear, those scriptures will go in and they'll seed the soil. And then you put your thoughts and your life experience on top of it. And then you can say something original out of your own head. And I think that process has to be talked about. When people leave tonight, I want them in their cars or in their room or in the bathroom, and I want them thinking about this stuff. Yeah. And I want you to relate it to your life so that you have to be compelled to share about it. That you have to go, man, on Tuesday night, I learned this. I've been thinking about it, and here's my take on it as of Wednesday. And that might change as of Thursday, but here's my take on what he said. And then maybe even come back and go, I think, just like I watched Kyle's thing, and then I said, I love all of it, but there was 2 points I didn't like, and I told him, I said, I thought about it for a week. And I don't like that you said experience, strength, and hope. I don't like that you did that because I don't believe it. And that's it. That's what we're doing here. And I think that's the breakthrough point, Jim. I think is the breakthrough point. If you can't get people to admit that they're about looking good, they'll never stop looking good. And they're going to desperately worry that they say some original and everybody, they self-express and say something original and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then what happens? They won't survive in the social group. They'll have to leave. And that's the fear, is that I say something original and it doesn't work, that other people don't agree.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful question.
Thanks, guys.
Really. And I love that you related it to what you went through, the same process as teaching, because it's true. As a teacher, you want everyone to talk. You just don't want them to be full of shit.
Exactly.
And you can't wait for the beauty of it. I'll tell you what, when I hear people talk about this information, and then I know for sure they've thought about it and soiled it and flowered it, it makes me cry every time. because that's how I want to impact people's life.
I think that one of the points you were talking about socially, how people don't want to engage in anything, is that's a big star to me. It seems like everybody's afraid to engage on any level.
Well, no, there is a level they're not afraid of, Jim. They're all engaging on one level. They're engaging on the level of complaint.
Yeah.
People will complain about everything.
You're right.
People will complain about everything. People will get in politics right now just to complain. They will join a group to complain. They will complain, but they don't go past the level of complaint. Because going past the level of complaint takes thought, takes work, takes organizing, takes effort. And people aren't willing to risk that. Because what if they asked everybody to come meet them at the church at 7:30 and nobody showed up?
Mm-hmm.
You know what up? Then they look bad.
Yeah.
And that's a big risk. You know? It's just, God, it's beautiful. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. So we're down to about 5 minutes left. We certainly can make time for another one. If anybody out there, do raise your hand. And if not, then Art can close up. But if there's anybody that was about to, please, we'd love to take it.
No, not tonight. Well, I want to say I thoroughly enjoyed this tonight, and I really enjoyed how everyone contributed, and the questions that were asked were thoughtful because, and I know they are, and it might not have been the longest, or it might not have been like the most contributed, but every one of them was important.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that contributed in an important way. And this is exactly what I hoped for tonight. I didn't know it was going to go well. What I thought was I was going to do my talk and everybody's going to be too scared to talk. And that's how I thought it was going to go. So I was worried that I would just dummy everyone up, but you guys here, you did great. And I think it's very important to understand what we're here to do. We're here to take a human being. You're here as a human being and as a family that's been acting like gloves together. Basically a family full of gloves. Everyone's got their persona. Everyone's hiding their life. Everyone's trying to look good. Everyone's trying to fit in. Everyone's trying to interact with each other fraudulently. And so we don't know each other. We're getting to the point where we don't even know each other as a family. We don't know each other as a social group. And what my thing is that glove is full of shit and you're wearing it. And so as you come here, and everyone comes here, everyone that brings their kid here says the same thing. My kid's full of shit. Well, that's because of the glove they're wearing. That's because their life's been about looking good. And it's if your life is about looking good and you don't look good, well, then turning to drugs is the only sane alternative. Really, because there's no other way out. I don't look good. My shit's not going well. Well, what's a way out to forget about that? Drugs. And it's a very logical explanation why people would do drugs. And then you get done and the drugs wear off and the alcohol wears off, and guess what? You don't look good. And there it is again. I don't have a house. I don't have a retirement. I don't have a strong career. I'm not a quarterback of a football team. I don't play classical piano. I don't have a beautiful hot wife. On and on and on. I've been a bad father. I've been a bad mother. I've lost my kids. None of that shit looks good. And it certainly doesn't feel good. So, but the problem isn't you. The problem is the glove. And if you can see that it's the glove that's the problem, you can get down to being who you really are. You're just a person. You're just a soul in there experiencing, or whatever we call it. We're just something in here experiencing this thing. And we as human beings are underneath the persona we put on. We're the ones that have witnessed every different persona that we put on. If you can picture your persona, it can't be you. And right now, just look at it. You can picture what you've been like. You know the mask you're putting on. You know the glove you're putting on. You know what guess what? You're a shy person. Shy people are the biggest assholes they are. And they sit in the room and they go, oh, look at all these loudmouths. I'm shy. Yeah, you're an asshole. And they think that they're not a bigger asshole than the loudmouth because they're shy. But being shy is about looking good. And being loud is about looking good. So we're the same. I'm a loudmouth prick. Okay, well, you're a shy prick. Doesn't matter. It's just the mask we all put on. And here we are. And so the work of it is getting to the point where you can live some kind of presence. Get space from your persona, get space from that glove, and look and see that you're deeper than that. And as you see you're deeper than that, we work on these relationships and try to get deeper with people. And we try to speak about why we're speaking and what we're trying to contribute to the situation. And how nonsensical can a conversation be if somebody doesn't take control of it? Somebody doesn't say, hey, wait, guys, let's talk about something of value. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about cars. I don't care about, any pop stars. I don't care what Bieber did. I don't care what your favorite rapper just did and who he shot. I don't give a shit. Let's talk about the human experience. And that's why I hope everyone tunes in tonight. And that's why I hope everyone tunes in, is to talk about the human experience. But to talk about the human experience, you need to get down underneath the layer of looking good. Or you're not talking about the human experience. You're just being a human. Anyways, I really appreciate it tonight. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Such a great message. Thank you. Good night, everybody. See you next week.